grandfathers, uncles, they were not better providers than men are today. They just lived in a time where life was a lot easier. 1990, the average mortgage payment in America was $650. Today, the average monthly mortgage payment is $2,500. The average rent price in America in 1990, it was $370. The average rent price today is $2,000. Meanwhile, the average income in 1990 was $30,000. Today, the average income is $55,000. The average income hasn't even doubled, and that's in 35 years. The average minimum wage in 1990 was $4. The average minimum wage today is $7.25. So there's really no comparison, but people, they really lack understanding of this basic thing. And if you're going to compare people from the past to today, this should be the point that y'all bring up, is that people understood where they were in life and where they were on a social economic ladder, and they desired and wanted things that were according to where they were in life.
Okay.
Are men of today better providers than our fathers?
Good question.
I say no.
Yes, we are. And first of all, we are overall, we're a better batch. We the best batch of men that been on this planet ever. And let's start there. We with our kids more. We handle more responsibility. We take more bullshit from y'all. So I feel like this the best batch of men ever created. If we got to be honest.
That's a good point, because women's expectations of men have never changed. Women still want men to be providers, protectors, and so on and so forth. But women have not kept up on their roles. What do I mean by that? So women have expectations of men, and they've been the same throughout centuries: provide, protect. Okay, same thing. But women expect men not to expect anything of them, like the women of yesteryear. So if men expected women to cook, clean, be submissive and kind and, nurturing, women are like, no, we are equal. So I'm not going to be submissive because we are equal, we are partners. And I'm also not going to cook and clean because I'm working. But in the same breath, women are say, even if we're equal, even if I'm not cooking and cleaning, I still expect you to provide, and I still expect you to protect. So in other words, women's expectations for men have stayed the same the whole time. They still expect you to provide, but you cannot expect them to cook and clean and be nurturing and all those roles. So in other words, men of today actually might be better providers because they're getting less from their women.
Yeah, even if we wanted to be better providers, the women fight us to be equal anyways.
Facts.
So it's like we're trying to be good, but they trying to fight us to be equal and this and that. So
yep.
I think if he gave a economic breakdown, but that's always gonna vary depending on time anyway. So I don't even think that matters. It's just the women back then wasn't fighting to be a CEO and saying she not cooking, she not cleaning, she don't got time. So it's just a different dynamic.
Yeah, because if you actually hear some of the stories, the women of yesteryear, back in the past, the women used to say, my husband works and gives me the check, and then I can pay the bills of the household the way I see fit. So the man would work, bring all the money, give to his woman for her to buy food, do whatever she wants. But that's because those women respected those men. They never fought with them. They were submissive, they were kind, they never disrespected them. But today, a woman will call her husband names, disrespect him, and still expect him to pay 100% of the bills. It's not a fair trade. You feel me? So men don't get the same nice, soft, submissive woman the way men back in the day used to get. But the expectations for the men are still the same.
You think women are fighting to be providers too?
Well,
they are not fighting to be providers. They are fighting to be equal, but still expect the man to be a provider.
They for sure they love the word independent.
No. No, not independency. Do you think women of today are fighting to be providers?
No.
Oh, no. I mean, if they could find somebody to take care of them, they'll take it.
Yep.
It's just, I guess today they're requiring more of men. So, we got to be 6'6", 6 pack,
Yeah.
six figures. So it seems like it's just harder for us to do that. And then there's attitudes, it's just all over
Yeah.
the place.
I think the attitude, like I said, like a man would provide for a woman. He will do anything to provide. He will give his last dollar. At least most men would, if the woman was nice, even if she pretends to be nice. But it's like some women want to disrespect a man, talk crazy when they want, not be held accountable, but still expect the man to still provide. It's like they say they will be nice to you when they want to be, but you better provide every time, not only when you want to provide. It's not a fair trade.
They fighting for the title, but less responsibility.
Facts.
Okay, they want to be looked at as household partners and equals to their man without doing the same or as much responsibility as the man. Man, y'all are lucky to have us. Jess, Molly, Jerry, Nikki, Q. Y'all should be really on y'all knees praying for us niggas. We the niggas who your granny them was dreaming about. Because not only do we pay everything, for the majority of the part we fight for.
Yeah.
No. That's wrong. Most men.
And I was just about to say that there's some sort of disconnect between.
The disconnect is y'all hard-headed.
Yep.
No.
Y'all.
You're wrong. You might pay everything, but most of these men don't. Based on the average income of what men are making, two income household is needed. So no. Well, maybe because I'm taking it from my dad paying everything, my dad being that man. Most of these men are not like my dad.
But also, your mom is submissive to your dad, so he's in a position to pay for everything without even thinking about it. But most men won't be willing to pay for everything. If a woman is working, if she's not submissive, she never cooks, she never cleans. It's like, if we are both working, how can I pay for everything? That doesn't make sense.
Based on the statistics going on today.
Y'all got a misunderstanding of I don't know your dad in particular, but in general, y'all got a misunderstanding of who your grandfathers and your fathers was. Y'all fathers was fuck ups. They was not great.
Yeah.
Listen, they didn't have the same pressures, they didn't exist in the social media era. They did not spend as much money. And I think that the ability to survive was much easier based off of how much you made. It's just the truth. Wages haven't increased as much as the cost of living. And so the ability to support a whole family of 4 or 2 or 1 or 3 or whatever is much more difficult. And I think that because y'all falsely compare us to y'all punk ass fathers, we don't get the credit that we deserve. We better than them. We way better than them. We better than them punk ass coke heads. Y'all daddies was coke heads.
And your granddad had y'all staying in a shotgun shack. You can't tell me you love granny. This nigga had one job not to get caught up. He had to take a piece of paper out of his pocket. He couldn't even spare granny them tears. That's all he had to do was take the number out of his pocket.
Y'all daddies was weak as fuck. There was some bitch ass.
There were deadbeats in every generation. It's just that the deadbeats in our generation are more amplified due to social media. It's like
it was more of them.
Yeah,
listen, these motherfuckers have families all over town. Social media.
You get. So I keep in my mouth shut. That's not what it is.
Listen, listen, y'all got to realize they was making 100,000 in the 90s. Do you know what 100,000 in 1992 was like?
It's about 600,000 now.
Wait, so Anton, if they were doing that back then, right? Does that mean that if some men from back then was doing it, why aren't the men of today not doing it?
Because
I think in my perspective, in my opinion, men back in the day had multiple baby mamas, and the woman would know, or maybe not even know about it. So men back in the day had multiple baby mamas, multiple kids from different areas. But I think it changed now. Now women have multiple baby daddies in multiple areas. So back in the day, men did all the cheating, most of the cheating, had more kids. But now women have more kids than men do, with a small percentage of men, in my opinion.
It's
Because
harder.
we got kicked out of the
Cost
house.
more.
Is it harder or they're more lazy?
Nah,
No,
man.
No,
I
it's
would-
not more
I
like
would
It's
say
still
that
the
one.
same 8
I also
hours.
think that sometimes men don't feel there's no incentive for some men to want to do it in the first place, given the type of modern women that are
That's
here
true too,
today.
Jerry.
Mhm.
That's facts. That's what I said. Like any man would be willing to steal, if it comes to it, to provide for a woman who shows that she is caring, she's not a user, she respects him, she puts effort. Any man would be willing to do anything for a woman like that. But men these days are like, okay, you want to work, you don't want to cook, you don't want to clean. We are equal, so why would I pay 100% of the bills if you're working too? And it's like, we're just a partnership, really. It's like you're doing your thing, I'm doing my own thing. The only thing we do really is be intimate, have sex, go on dates together, and that's it. So why would I pay 100% of that? Plus, you can disrespect me whenever you want, and you don't want me to say anything about it. So most men, she's right. It's like, why should I go above and beyond? There is no incentive.
So I think that a man will be willing to do more for a woman that he feels like he can get as much value from. And that's not
Yep.
necessarily using her like for her body or objectifying her, but if he feels like he can get a package deal out of this one woman, then of course he's going to cater and do more to her. But for some men, because I know a lot of single men and they don't want to do anything for a woman, not because they don't necessarily have it, but because they don't feel like that woman is good enough to be receiving his resources.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like all y'all are good enough for a 1-room shack, but you're not good enough for a 3-bedroom apartment. Like you hold your horses. So what your granny was compared to was a 1-room shack because that was the shit that day. But what the equivalent of that is today is a 3-bedroom apartment, and y'all not worth that.
That's facts. Like back in the day, dad and mom would live in a single room for years and build together. These days, you as a man, if you're a bachelor, you rent your own single room, you will be lucky to have a woman willing to live in that same room with you. They would rather pay their $1,000 a month rent, you pay your $1,000 rent, rather than thinking, you know what, if we live together and we both pay 500 and we use this 500 to actually invest in the future and plan for our kids, they would rather you stay by their side and she stays on her own so she can feel independent, rather than you guys coming together to save for the future. It is what it is, man.